Hello! I have this really cool mould and I've wanted to do it for a while, but everything else just kept happening. I'm going to use tiny Turner pigments and I'm going to use particular colours for certain parts. So I've got Starlight for the sun, and I'm going to use Eclipse for the moon. And I've also got Dark Matter, which I want to use on like these, they're like diamonds almost. I think they're supposed to be diamonds actually. So I'm going to use Dark Matter on that. And then for the main body of this dragon, I'm going to use Dragon. So it's a new one. I've not used it yet. It's a flake. And it is very, very pretty. Look at that prettiness. Oh my goodness. So I think it's time to go and play. Hello everyone, I'm Lula. I am the face behind NERDGOBLIN. Now, just recently I managed to reach 1.5 thousand subscribers and I'm blown away. I really am. I was excited at getting 5 subscribers. I was excited at getting 10, but to reach 1.5 thousand is awesome. It's really cool and I'm very, very thankful. And so I reached out to Apex Resin and they have very, very kindly agreed to help out with a giveaway, which I think is pretty awesome. And it's gonna be quite a nice prize. It's gonna be a £50 voucher for Apex Resin. Now, Apex Resin were recently known as Just For You Online UK, but they are now known as Apex Resin. So we're going to do a giveaway, and all you've got to do is like, share and comment this video. It is Monday the 3rd of March, and the following video, 10th of March 2025, is when we're going to announce the winner. I think that's cool and I think it's great. I hope you take part, I hope you enjoy, and it's a big thank you for being subscribers, and awesome Apex Resin for agreeing to help out with the prize. Enjoy the video. That's exciting, isn't it? So I am going to be burnishing in Starlight first into the little sun figures. I have sped this up and it will get a little bit faster because it does take a little while. It's quite detailed in certain parts of the mould. Some of it is also going to be finished afterwards using the chrome markers, especially in like the stars, and I'm not quite sure what to call those little bits that are coming down. They look like, I don't know, like long pieces of grass. I have no idea. And the dots, so we're going to do those after the curing. So it's just a case of being careful and making our way around the mould, using isopropyl alcohol and wipes to move anything that I don't particularly want. I'm using as well, you'll notice that it's sitting on a canvas board. Reason being, it's just so that I can move it over to my balance table that has another heater, because I have another project I want to be getting on with after this one. So I'm just making sure I can move it safely and carefully, because to try and pick this mould up on its own would be a bit of a nightmare. So it's a very handy thing to have, these canvases, not just for painting on. It's a 30 by 30, I think. I can't quite remember, but it's good to be able to move them back and forth. So I've moved on to the other sun now.
The Starlight is a really, really lovely colour, and I have done them using white mica powder in the resin, but I do genuinely think that the black mica is the best option. So you can just see that I'm just giving a quick wipe around and using both the micro brush with isopropyl alcohol and the wipe, and then I'm dabbing with a little bit of kitchen roll. I'm not rubbing because we don't want to be scratching any of our molds now, do we? So this is Eclipse. No, it's not. I tell a fib. I obviously, I always end up wiping bits off that I don't want to wipe off. So I was just touching up where I managed to wipe some of that pigment powder off. So we're on to Eclipse. This is more of the bluey sort of colour. These are available from Toonfish Crafts, and I have linked them in the description box down below. So if you fancy getting them, they are very worth it, and they go a long way. They do honestly go a long way, and I think they're worth every penny because of what you get out of them. So just a little bit more about the giveaway. I am so chuffed, and I know I said it in the beginning part where I showed you my mush, but I am absolutely blown away. So when I approached Apex Resin, they were awesome. I emailed them, they were very quick to respond, and then I did make sure, and I checked with them that this is global, so they do post worldwide, and being a £50 voucher, you could use it to order something, and it could potentially cover the postage for you. So if you really wanted to try something from Apex, and maybe you live in the States, for instance, and it's not something you can get there, maybe you can order it from them, and you could use the voucher to basically, it adds up. I know what I mean. So there we go. So I've just moved on to dark matter, and this is to do the, I'm going to say crystals. They kind of look a little bit like lanterns as well, but I think they are supposed to be like crystals. The colour is lovely. I really like dark matter. I use it a lot. I use it quite often when creating those like universes that I did in Snoopy Dogs, and also when I did a bunch of those character makes, just to try it out. So it works beautifully within resin, but for burnishing on as well, it really is a lovely colour. I thought I'd put some on these moons on the wings as well. So this is, what am I doing? I think I was considering burnishing in the starlight into the stars at that point, but then I thought, no, I'm gonna use it. Not gonna use it for that. I'm gonna use the chrome markers. That is right. I wing these things. I pull colours out. I got as far as deciding on the sun and the moon. The dark matter was an afterthought, but I knew I was definitely going to be using the dragon flakes. So I've just got a slightly bigger brush, and this is so pretty. It is greens and purpley pinks and blues in it. It really is very beautiful. It does remind me of the Arcane, the actual pigment powder, but this is more, the flakes I think are a bit more intense, but the colour is absolutely stunning. Again, the pot isn't huge, but on its own, this pot costs £6. And it really does go a long way. So I don't think that is an exceptional amount of money to spend on an excellent product. You know, I don't get, I haven't been sent this. It's not a case that I'm doing it if I pay for the product myself. But praise goes where, you know, it's deserved. And these products, these tiny Turner flakes and pigments are absolutely beautiful, and they're just such a joy to work with. So I'm going to play you some music now whilst I continue burnishing in. It is sped up for you, but I do know that a lot of you do like to see the whole process, so I'm going to keep it in.
Blush a fire in the night, magic beats within my heart, riding dragons through the storm, creating worlds with my art. Paint the sky with ancient tales, canvas filled with dreams so wild, so serene in every stroke, my soul unleashed like a child. In the heart of the dragons, where the magic is alive, in the fire and the shadows, that's where I will thrive. Words like spellbound in ink, songs that cast a mystic charm, dragons dance upon the breeze, in my mind and in my arm. Colors burst from twilight streams, mystic runes and twilight gleams, alchemy and melodies, crafting all my wildest dreams. Flames that guide me through the night, casting love and casting light. With my art and with my wings, hear the songs the dragons sing. Ancient tales, canvas filled with dreams so wild, sorcery in every stroke, my soul unleashed like a child. In the heart of the dragons, where the magic is alive, in the fire and the shadows, that's where I will thrive. Words like spellbound in ink. Walking through a crowded street, faces blur in morning light. Everyone's got battles beat, some are seen and some out of sight. Whispers echo through the wind, tears don't always show in eyes. Empathy begins within, judgment wears a thin disguise. Be a beacon in the night, shine your love through darkest skies. You could be the helping hand, kindness won't demand a prize. Silence struggles day to day, hidden hearts no one just to be free. Erase the lines of enemy, connect with what we cannot know. Reach out with sincerity, with every seed of love we sow. Be a beacon in the night, shine your love through darkest skies. You could be the helping hand, kindness won't demand a prize. Be a beacon in the night, shine your love through darkest skies. You could be the helping hand, kindness won't demand a prize. 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 Prize.
That took a fair minute, didn't it? Aren't you glad I sped it up a little? So I decided to add a little bit of the starlight to the ends of the toes and such. And of course I need gloves, magic. I've moved you now, and I am using my black mica powder. It's linked below. I'm using Apex resin, and it's a 1-to-1. It's a fantastic resin and I highly recommend it. I've already mixed it and I have made up 8 fluid ounces. I've already split it into 2 different cups for the purpose of not causing any flash cures. And I'm also going to add some diamond frost to the mix as well. That's because obviously the dragon's done, but there's also because this is like a shelf. It's classed as like a candle holder, but with this kind of resin, just use battery operated lights with these kind of things. But it's also designed for hanging on like necklaces and you know, little trinkets and stuff that you can just dangle on the ends of it, which I think is ace. So that's the purpose of the glitter into the black, just to make the actual shelf part of it a bit more interesting. So I'm just adding in the resin now. I'm being careful, I'm keeping an eye on what I'm doing. Never poured this mould before, and quite often with a lot of the moulds that do come from Temu, especially the dragon ones, I found, it's probably because there's the wings and things like that to consider. I've often had to prop them up in some places, so just being wary of that. But I was actually pleasantly surprised. You could see me, like, I'd stop then and I was like looking around her and I'm like, oh, okay. It's kind of found its way everywhere. I'm saying a lot, aren't I? I'm very sorry. I think I'm umming a lot. This is going to get a spray of isopropyl alcohol. Oh my god. I had to pause recording for a moment. I'm using isopropyl alcohol after, because obviously I burnished in the chrome powder, not chrome powders, the flakes and the pigment powders. If you spray it before, you know, you do risk losing some of your pigment, so spraying it afterwards is your option. I've not used any debubblers today because of the nature of this mould. I figured it might be okay. I've put the silicone tool around the edges of it as well, and I will keep an eye on it for a little while. So I'm just adding more of the black mica powder to the last of that mixture so that I can fill up the shelving part of the dragon. So as I said, I mixed up 8 fluid ounces, and I use the Let's Resin cups that are available from Amazon. It does say US fluid ounces. Whether that makes a big difference, I'm not entirely sure. But these are the cups that I tend to use for anything below 8 fluid ounces and below. I was actually surprised. I know that moulds like this can be quite deceiving, and it only left me with about just under 2 fluid ounces of resin. So yeah, I was wondering if I was going to have to make up more. But like I say, kind of surprised. You know, I've done other moulds similar to this, I think cat ones and a bat, and it was quite surprising. So I'm just bringing you in closer now. So I'm going to do just 2 extras. These little moulds don't take a lot, so I'm going to do the alligator, which is one of my absolute favourites. And I realised that I have never actually burnished any powders into this mould. I always just add the colours that I've particularly mixed up, and I've only ever, if I have black mixed into my resin, I've just added the black resin and not really done anything else. So this is an actual first for me. With this mould, I always make sure, as you can see, I was giving it a little tap and a squeeze just to try and encourage any bubbles to come up, because we don't want those stinky bubbles. They're usually a bit of a pain in the eyes of this particular mould. And I'm also going to do the Into Resins tortoise. It's a big favourite. I think I pour this tortoise a lot, and you can tell the amount of times I've used it, because I've not sprayed any alcohol into this. I don't use heat on it either. So on this one, I'm using the Starlight, because I already had it out for the dragon. Oh, and the alligator, that is dark matter burnished into that one, and this one is having the Starlight, and I'll just add the black. And I apologise, are you a YouTuber if you don't go slightly off camera occasionally? I could have zoomed out, but I forgot. But I actually did think that it was in I moved it from there because I thought it was in shot. I didn't think it was in shot on the right, so I moved it to the left. Oh dear, never mind. With that tortoise mould, it's always a good idea to get your silicone tool and just dab around in the bottom. And I know you can't see it, but that does encourage any bubbles to come up to the surface. That's full now, and while I've been looking and keeping an eye on this mould, I did notice that it could probably take just a tiny little bit more, particularly in the feet. And so the very last scrapings of this resin has just gone into this dinosaur. So it's just a case now of this curing and having another spray of some isopropyl alcohol, and I did not, and was careful not to spray it into the tortoise mould. And it's always a good idea to check for any little bits and pieces. And I remembered to actually go around the edges of the crocodile or alligator. I can't decide. Somebody needs to tell me if it's a crocodile or an alligator. I know there's a difference in the snouts. So let's let this cure. But we don't like waiting, do we? So here you go. This is the same day. I did use my heat mat because I'm impatient, you know me. And check that out. Isn't he beautiful? I'm actually really surprised by, I don't know why. I could give it a coating of UV resin, but I'm not going to do that today. And check that. Looks like magic. I can't believe I've never actually burnished any colours into either of these moulds before. I just thought today, and there you go. So this is obviously the support, and this is the shelving part. So the idea with this is that you can put like a candle on the top of it, but as it's this sort of resin, this resin, Apex resin, does have a good heat tolerance, but that's more in regards to things like coasters with cups of tea and such. So, you know, if you do use this mould, use your battery operated candles. You're safer, is better. So I was surprised actually at how easy it was to come out. And it's come out quite nicely. I've only got to clean up the edges. I kind of wish that I'd wiped them over before taking it out of the mould, because that would have been easier. But there we go. And you can also see more clearly on the shelf part where you can like hang necklaces and stuff. And check that out. Isn't that lovely? I really like that. I will show you a bit, because you can see there as I'm moving it slightly, can you see it goes like a purpley pink, but it just looks completely greeny blue at this point. But afterwards, when I finish doing any of the chrome marker work to it, which I'm doing now, so I'm using J Diction chrome markers. They're available on Amazon. I'm going to be using the Astral Silver at this point, and that's for these bits that are going down now. I will show you slightly slowly and then I'll speed it up, but I'm not going to show you doing all of it, because we would be here for about an hour, because it does take a good while, and it also takes more than one coat. I do end up giving this about 3 coats with the marker, just to make absolutely sure that I am happy with it. And I'm making sure I'm doing the dots as well, because there's lots of little dots on here, as well as the stars. And I'll also use this, I forgot the name of the colour already, but I'm also going to be using it to go around like the edges of those crystals. And don't be too worried either that if you're doing a technique like this, just using the chrome markers, if you make a mistake, the isopropyl alcohol will get those pen marks up. And if it's, you know, I'm using my finger quite, you know, because I'm seeing it and I'm using it quite quickly, I'm just swiping away with my finger. But you can go over it as well with a big wipe, or I suppose a baby wipe if you're using those, but you've got to be a little bit quicker with the wipes if you're using them. Right, this is all done. So I've added that Starlight Gold, and I'm not that happy with the dark matter colour because of the blue at this point with the from the dragon flakes. I think it's too similar, so I'm just using this colour just to go over those parts, and that's cool, isn't it? Because you have that option of changing it up a bit if you're not entirely happy with the original colour you went with. I do also end up giving this 2 coats. It's just a case of waiting for them to dry, and I'm a lot happier now with those colours. I think it looks a lot better, and it's actually quite surprising how well this chrome marker does tie in with the flakes. I've noticed this a few times now when I've done a few different makes with the Tiny Turner pigments, that the J. Diction chrome markers, because there's a few different colours in there, they do really well with them. Actually, I think you're able to match up, and you just saw me just going round a bit of the sun, so I'm really pleased with that. I'm a lot happier with the choice of changing like the crystal colours. I'm just gonna have a look now at, we're going to call it an alligator. I think it's an alligator. So I'm just using my black Posca pen, and that's just to give the crocodile his eyes. And then I'll use, I'm being lazy, I could pull out the white one, but I couldn't see it so easily. So I'm just going to pull out that the silver one that I used on the dragon, just to give a little twinkle in his eyes. I will very likely give this guy a covering of UV resin, and I'm gonna add on the shelving now. I do this wrong at first. I put it in I put the support the wrong way. I'm like, why isn't it working? And I was like, oh yeah, okay. Now, I don't show this on screen, but this definitely needs to be glued in place, because there's not like a latch on the other side for it to stay attached. But see what I mean about the colour? When I just lifted it up to look at it, look at the colour change. Green, pinky purples, green and blues, pinky purples. Isn't that freaking awesome? I'm like, wee, it's so pretty. It is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. I'm so pleased with that. And we've got our alligator, I don't know, and that tortoise is absolutely gorgeous. He will get a crown as well. Yeah, he's gonna get a crown. So don't forget to enter the giveaway, £50 with Apex resin. Thank you for watching. Love you and stay weird.
Nerd Goblin art draws a magic world, with foxes that prance and badgers that dance, a whirlwind of dreams with a single glance. Gerald the alligator grins so wide, in enchanted waters he loves to hide. Dragons breathe wonder with flames so bright, each creature born from a magic night. Nerd Goblin paints life in every brush, animals frolic in a vibrant rush. From canvases to tales they leap, in a realm where fantasy meets deep. The studio's alive with swirling paint, creatures so pure they need no saint. Sketches of foxes with tails of light, badgers with moonlit fur.